Ma'am, you are not audible. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. So we will wait for 5 more minutes. Let everyone join, then we will start. Okay.
Sure,
Meanwhile, you
ma'am.
can ask if you have any doubt in yesterday's assignment. Hope you all have got the assignment. I have uploaded in the Google Drive as we have discussed. Also, I have uploaded PPT also in the same folder. Have you checked it?
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
So in assignment two, till the third line means initialize an empty Git repository I have done. So place your Git repository into this Git repository. How can I do the number four number line?
Okay. So for that purpose, you require some code actually. Let me share you some
Okay,
code for that. So you require some code. That code you have to place into that particular folder. Okay. I will share you that code.
okay.
Yeah, yesterday I forgot to share. Middle by some because of internet issue we disconnected now. Let me share now.
Because yeah, I can't understand. Okay.
Mm. Let me share. Let me log into my GitHub account. I will share one GitHub URL. You just clone that URL into your project. Okay. After initializing in the same folder, run command git clone and the URL which I am going to provide now. Okay.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. So git clone and then then the URL. Okay.
Yeah, which I am going to give.
After that, I would follow the same process
Yeah,
that you
after
have
that you need
already,
to follow
whatever
all the
you
steps
mentioned.
only. Whatever
Okay,
steps mentioned there, you can follow the same steps.
okay. First git clone, then URL, then I go to, then I move on to git ignore.
Yeah, you can move to the Git ignore. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I will share in a chat box. Just check your chat box. I think so. We should start now. Yeah.
It is, it is
Uh,
not there in chat box.
I have allowed everyone to unmute. Why you are getting problem, dear? Yes, when I think so Swati is there, na? Yes, ma'am. She is getting problem to unmute. Just try Swati once. Are you able to unmute? Swati, are you there? Just join with the computer. You do one thing. Do one thing. Just click on your microphone. Mute button is there. Now click on that microphone and provide the permission, browser permissions. Maybe it is blocked from your side because I have not blocked anyone. Even I asked you to unmute. You just try one shot, Swati, because I have not muted anyone. Okay, by default, everyone is allowed. Maybe some setting your side which is giving problem to you. Okay. Yeah. So shall we start now? I think so. No one is going to join. Host
Yes,
is
yes.
not allowing to mute. Dwitiraj, are you getting any problem? Why?
Mm,
Because Swati should.
no, no, ma'am, I'm not getting.
I have allowed. Let me try once again. No, I allowed everyone from my side. Yeah, Sushmita. Okay. Sushmita, Sushmita, you can unmute yourself. Why it is showing problem to you? You just do one thing, disconnect and once again rejoin. Why? Because by default, everyone is allowed to unmute. Okay. There are no any settings. Just
Ma'am,
try once again.
I think no, it's in the Zoom also.
From my side, I have not muted
Yeah,
anyone.
ma'am,
Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any question or anything, you can text me here, no problem. Okay, so shall we start now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So first of all, we will see our next tool. Okay. So let me share my screen. I think so my screen is visible. My screen is visible, guys.
No, ma'am.
Let me share my. Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. It is.
So next we will see our another tool which is called as a Maven. Okay. Now this is also very important tool when you are working with the DevOps. This tool mainly used for the building purpose. So before moving towards this tool, let's understand what is a build process, because frequently I am telling that Maven is a build tool. Okay. To understand Maven, first of all, we need to understand the build process. Okay. So what is my build process? So under the build process, we are performing certain task automation. Okay. What task automation we are going to do here? So generating binary code from your source code. Okay. The first task is generating binary code. So first task I will write as a generating binary code. Okay. We can say generating binary code from a source code. Now, before understanding what is mean by binary code, okay, what is mean by source code? The code which is written with the help of some command by the programmer will be called as a source code. That means your actual code of your application will be called as a source code, okay? And this source code will be also called as a high level language. Always remember, computer will not able to understand high level language. Whatever program written by the developer, the computer will not understand that program. Usually, computer don't know the high level language. He only knows language which is written in 0 and 1. Okay, which is written in a 0 and 1. So to make understand computer, whatever programs written by the developer, to make that program understood to the computer, what we have to do? We have to, not we actually, we have some inbuilt programs for that. That inbuilt program, what they will do, they will take a source code. Okay, what they will do, they will take a source code, and that source code will be converted into the binary code. Okay, that source code will be converted into the binary code, and this conversion process will be done with the help of compiler and interpreter. Okay, this is just for your information. Just in case if anyone asks, you should know. Okay, so source code will be converted into the binary code. How it will be converted? With the help of compiler and interpreter. Okay, we will not go in a detail much more. Okay, because this is a part of a compiler designing. So this we will not go in detail, but remember, whatever code written by the developer, that code will be not understandable by the machine or your computer. So that code will be converted into the binary code. Okay, and this binary code generation will be done with the help of a compiler and the interpreter. Okay, source code will be converted into binary code, and that will be done with the help of compiler and interpreter. Okay, these are the inbuilt program in your computer, compiler and interpreter. Okay, so whenever you are installing any package like a Java package, Python package, that time this compiler and interpreter will be automatically installed, and they will do work on behalf of you. Okay, so generation of a binary code will be done automatically. Generation of a binary code will be done with the help of this build tool. That is one task, or we can say first task of your build tool. Okay. So generating binary code is the one task. Second task, it generated document from the source code. Okay. Now usually for any source code we have to create the document. Even in the BTech or MTech, whenever you are doing your final year project, that time what they will ask you, along with the code you need to provide the reports or the documentation. Am I right? So how these reports will be generated? So here you just consider report is nothing but one kind of a document, and that documentation we should generate automatically. Okay, here we are not providing any details. Okay, so automatically whenever you are providing source code, one document will be generated for that source code. Okay, that documentation generation will be also done with the help of a build tool. Okay, that documentation generation will also done with the help of build tool. Now third task. Third task of a build tool is nothing but compilation of a code. Okay, compilation of a code, execution of a code. That is one more task that your build tool has to do. Compilation. Okay. Next, once the code is compiled, we need to pack the code as an archive file. Okay, we need to pack the code as a whole code will be converted into a zip folder. That zip folder will be called as a var. So that folder will be called as a var file. Okay, if it is a web application, it will be called as a var file. Okay, if it is a web application, it will be called as a var file. Extension will be var. Usually zip extension will be there. Okay, for a compressed file, we will have a zip extension. Usually you know these things. Okay, about zip. But in Maven, the source code and all the libraries required for the source code will be packed into a single folder. That folder will be called as a archive folder, and the extension for the archive will be .var, .jar, okay, .jar, .ear, okay. Now, what is meant by var, what is meant by jar, what is meant by ear, I will tell you in the next slide. Okay, just remember. So, packaging of the code will be done with the help of build tool. Okay, packaging of the code. And then installing, once the code is packed as a jar, var or ear file, next task of a build tool is deploy this compressed file or zipped file onto the server. Okay, deploy this compressed file onto the server. This is one more task of your build tool. So this Maven will do automation of all these tasks. How many tasks I have mentioned here? 4 or 5 tasks I have mentioned here. What are the tasks? Generation of a binary code from the source code, generation of a document from the source code, compilation of the source code, packaging of the source code, and installing jar files or packed code into a server. These all tasks will be done with the help of a build tool. And right now, the build tool which we are going to learn here is the Maven. So Maven will do all this work on behalf of you. Okay. So this all work will be automated with the help of a Maven. Now understood main purpose of a Maven? Okay. So next, we will see how we can use Maven, how we can create Maven project, what are the Maven basic commands. We will work with a multi-module project, that means actual real-time project. We will work one project as a Java and one project as a web. Okay, so both project we will take for understanding purpose. Okay, then how we can do the integration testing with the help of this Maven tool, we will see, and then Maven advanced command. Okay, clean and advanced command. So these are the structure. Now let's see actual project. Okay, so in simple word, we can say Maven is a build automation tool which is mainly used for a Java. As I told you, what is the history to develop Maven is that Jakarta turbine was the one project in the earlier days. Okay, this project was very big, and under that big project we have a small projects. Okay, So every time building this small project and then going to the main project was become a tedious task. So to remove that sort of a tedious work, what they created, Apache group come forwards and they have created one software which is called as a Apache Maven. Okay. So this Maven is created by the Apache group. It is developed by the Apache group. Okay. So in 1991, I guess, I don't remember the exact year, but in that year they have developed this Apache Maven. So simply we will call it as it is a project management tool, or it is also called as a build automation tool. You can call it as anything. You can call it as a project management tool or else build automation tool, which can manage the complete building life cycle. Okay, what is a build the life cycle? I will tell you. Three types of life cycles are there. I will tell you in the next slide. But right now, just remember, Maven is a project management tool, or else we can say build a tool. Okay, then this build tool was written in a Java language. Okay, the source code or the code which is used to create this Maven project was Java. Okay, and mainly this Apache Maven is used for a Java based projects. Okay, this Maven is created with the help of Java, and mainly it is used for the Java projects only. Okay, so Maven, usually we will call it as a convention over configuration. Okay, so this is a very important interview question. That's why I have added into the introduction. Just write down somewhere. Why Maven is called as a convention over configuration. Okay, I think so. In the next slide, we have a convention over configuration. Or if it is not there, I will explain now on this. Yeah, it's not there. And here it is only there. So next slide, I will explain you what is a convention over configuration. Okay. So it is a structured project model. That means whenever you are creating a Maven project, automatically project structure will be created. That means in this Maven project, we will have a source code file. Then we have a test related file. And then we have a one more file which is called as a target, which will store your output, we can say, or archived folder will be there, that all archived folder will be stored in this target folder. Okay, so this structure will get automatically created. That's why we are calling it as a structured project model. Why? Because a developer, whenever writing any Java based project with the help of Maven, he don't have to worry about the folder. Okay, all the folder will be by default created when you are creating a Maven project, and just a developer have to write code into that folder. Okay, how the folders will be created, I will tell you, but just try to understand why it is called as a structured project model. Because whenever we are creating a Maven project, all folders will get automatically created. Okay, second important question in Maven, which is as per the interview perspective, is that explain Maven folder structure or explain Maven structure. Okay. Explain Maven project structure. Write down this question somewhere, right? Okay. So the second important question is that explain Maven project structure. Okay. So why this is called as a project structure model? Why? Because whenever you are creating a Maven project, automatically folder structure for that project will get created. So folder structure will contain source, test, and target. And under that, this source, we will have subfolders. That slide also I have prepared separately. So don't bother about it. Okay. And then next, build code reuse. Okay. So as I told you, once the code is built, that means code is compiled and the jar file for that code, jar file for the code is generated. What we will do, we will copy that jar file and we will share with everyone. We will share with the QA team for testing purpose. We will share with the deployment team for the deploying purpose. Okay. We will share with the release team to release the code. Okay. So this same code, once it is a packed and it is a artifact is generated, we will call it as an artifact. Okay. So once the code is packed and artifact for the code is generated, we will share that same code with everyone. So code reusability is possible. Okay. With the help of Maven tool, code reusability is possible. Okay. So we can share this code with anyone with the help of a Maven tool. Okay. Next, we will see why it is called as a build tool. Okay. So let me share you the things. Okay. So when creating a software project, we normally use a build tool to automate the process. So I told you build tool will be used to automate the processes. Okay, what process it will automate? I told you. What are the process? Compiling source code, run test cases, create document from the source code, package, compile code into jar file or zip files, install libraries, okay, install libraries into the local repository and deploy the code on the server. These are the tasks of a build tool. I told you, now only I have explained. Okay. So build tool, what is the main purpose of a build tool? So we can say build tool is used to automate the process such as building an application binary from the source code. Okay, building application binary from the source code. Build tool usually automate the process of compiling, assembling, and deploying. You can say, okay. So compiling, assembling, and the deploying. Okay. So build tool automate the process of compiling, assembling, and deploying. What are the other tools are available in the market? Do we have only Maven as a build tool, or do we have any other tools also in the market? So one tool we know as a right now we know is a Maven. But like Maven, do we have any other tools in the market as a build tools? Yes, we have other tools like a Gradle. Okay, this is also important question. Write down somewhere. Okay, what are the other tools available in the market rather than Maven? Okay, you can say Gradle and then Ant. Okay, these are the other tools available in the market. But if you compare these three tools among each other, then we will find that Maven is very convenient to learn and to utilize. Okay, this is very easy to utilize and very easy to learn. Okay, so and Maven and Gradle, these three tools are available in the market, but mainly, usually everyone will use Maven only because it is very easy to understand and easy to learn and easy to use. Okay, so we clear the point. So next, why Maven? Okay, why we are going with the Maven only? What is the main use of a Maven? So we can say Maven is used to build the uh, build the application. It is used to perform the testing. Now, what sort of a testing will be performed with the help of Maven? So, in the Maven, we have a one dependency, or we can say one library, which is called as a JUnit library. Okay, JUnit library. Okay, so write down. This is also important question, that how we can perform unit testing with the help of a Maven. This is also important question as per your interview perspective, is that how we can use how we can do the unit testing in the Maven project. So you can say that we have a one inbuilt jar or dependency which is called as a JUnit. So whenever you are creating Maven project, by default this jar will be installed in the project, and with the help of this JUnit you can perform the unit testing. Now what is unit testing? The question can arise. So unit testing is nothing but a project will be divided into small modules. Okay. One application will be divided into small modules, and each module will be tested individually. Okay. Each module will be tested individually. Okay. So this is a one unit will be considered, and the one unit will be tested separately. After completion of first unit, it will go for the second unit. Okay. Then this second unit will be tested with the help of JUnit, and then report will be generated. Okay, so unit wise, we can say module wise, we will do the testing. That's why it is called as a unit testing. And unit testing will be done with the help of a JUnit. Remember, unit testing will be done with the help of JUnit. Okay, and this is the library which will be installed in the Maven. Okay, next we will say documentation. Okay, so documentation is the very important part of a Maven. So we have a something like a we can say site. Slide is one plugin. Okay, we can say site is the one plugin which is available in the Maven. Now, what is a plugin? I will tell you, but right now just see. Site is the one plugin which is available in the Maven. With the help of this site plugin, we can automatically generate a document. We can automatically generate a document. Okay. Then reporting. Here also we have some plugins like a HTML plugins, HTML report plugins or Surefire. Okay. Surefire is the very important. You can write down somewhere. Okay. Surefire is the plugin which is used to generate the testing reports. Okay. Surefire plugin will be used to generate the testing reports. Okay. So with this Surefire, with the help of this Surefire plugin, we can generate all types of testing reports. What type of testing reports? So consider we have a 10 test cases. Okay. So how many test cases passed? How many test cases failed? Okay. This all type of information we can generate with the help of the Surefire plugin. Okay. And this plugin is available in the Maven. Okay. That's why we are going with the Maven. Then dependency. We have many types of dependency available in the Maven. Dependency, some are inbuilt dependency, some are built dependency, some are reporting dependency. So with the help of dependency, we can perform web related testing also. So to do the web related testing, we have a Selenium. Okay. Selenium is one tool which is used in the testing for which is used for web-based testing. Okay, right now you don't have a Selenium in a detail, but in the testing they are using one software which is called as a Selenium. Why Selenium is used for the web-based testing purpose? Okay, web pages are there, maybe Flipkart and Amazon. These all web pages are there, single web page. Okay, so this web page testing will be done with the help of Selenium tool. Okay, so that Selenium dependency is available in the Maven. Okay, these are the few reasons. Because of this reason, we are telling that Maven is so important. Okay. Then release, we can generate the release document. Distribution is also possible with the help of Maven. Why? Because we are creating jar and we are distributing that jar on the web for further deploying purpose. Okay. Then mailing list, whatever reports generated with the help of Surefire or HTML, that report we can forward directly to anyone's mail account. Okay. So because of these few reasons, we are saying Maven is a very important tool. So what are the reasons? It is providing build automation, unit testing is possible, document generation is also possible, reporting is also possible, dependency, release, distribution, and mailing list. These are the few reasons. Because of this reason, we are going with the Maven. Okay. So this is just a theoretical part. In any scenario, why you are choosing Maven tool? If someone asks you, you should able to give these reasons. Okay. Clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So why we are choosing Maven? Because of this reason. Now I know you might are not able to understand this Selenium and JUnit testing. Okay. So if you are not understanding, let me explain you about the testing part, but not now. After completion of Maven, we will go with the testing part. Okay. I will take some concepts from a testing so that you can able to understand. But right now, important thing here is to remember is to that Maven is a build automation tool. Okay. And the main important thing is what task we can do with the help of a Maven. Okay. What task we can do with the help of a Maven. You can say these tasks are very important. Okay. These are the things that we can do with the help of a Maven. You should know these things thoroughly. Okay. So forget about this if you are not able to understand. Okay. Why? Because every time I'm telling you what important things as per your interview perspective. Okay. I think so. Here everyone is clear. Next, I told you important concept is why we are calling Maven as a convention over the configuration. Okay. So we can say Maven uses one file. Okay, whenever you are creating a Maven project, one file will be automatically generated. That file name is a pom.xml. So if you see this extension, so by this extension, what you are able to understand? The file will
It is an XML file.
XML file, correct. So file content will be the XML. This is an XML file. Okay. So whenever you are creating a Maven project, this XML file will be created and that file name will be the pom.xml. Okay. It is a default file. Okay. Automatically it will be created in your project. Okay. So what is this pom.xml file? It is a project object model. It is called as a project object model. Okay. This file is, we can say, heart of a Maven. This file is the heart of a Maven and all important things, all dependencies, all configurations, all project related information, author of the project, version of the project, required dependencies and version of the dependency, required plugins, version of the plugins, everything to execute that project will be stored in this pom.xml file. Okay. This file, if you delete this file, there is a no use of the project. So this file is a very important because this file will store all the important details of your project. Okay. So it can be dependencies, plugins, configuration, libraries, everything will be stored in this pom.xml file and which is called as a project object model. Okay. Now we can say Maven uses convention over configuration in the managing project and provides default behavior of the project. That means when we are creating a project, Maven creates default project structure. Okay. And what developer have to do? Developer just have to save his code into that files. Okay. So I told you whenever we are creating Maven project, so structure will be generated. Okay. So the structure will have a source file. Okay. Here your source code will be there. Then test folder. Test folder will store all the test data. That means developer will write his code here. Tester will write his code here. Okay. And then we have a pom.xml file. Okay. Pom.xml file. And next thing we have is the target folder. Now initially target folder won't be available. Okay. Whenever you are creating, these three things will be mainly available whenever you are creating Maven project. Okay. These mainly three things will be available. And the developer have to no worry about where he have to write the code because this folder will automatically generate it. Developer will come here and he will start writing his code in the source folder. Tester will come here and tester will start writing his code in the test folder. And again, this source folder will divide it into other subfolders. Okay. Right now, just understand these things. So why we are calling it as a convention over configuration? Because automatically the project structure will get created for the developer. So developer have to no need to worry about the any folder or any structures. Why? Because this structure is get automatically created when we are creating Maven project. So developer just create Maven project and all the structure of the project will automatically get created. So developer no need to worry about configuring anything from his side. Developer have to no need to worry about configuring anything from his side. That's why we are calling it as a convention over configuration. He will not do any configuration. Developer will not do any configuration. Why? Because by default, conventionally, all the structure is available for the developer. Okay. He should not worry that where will be the libraries will go. Under this, libraries will be there, resources will be there, then versions will be there, class files will be there, binary files will be there, all the things are there, but that all files and all folders are automatically generated. Okay. Developer will not create any folder. That's why we are calling it as a convention over configuration. That means automatically structure will get created and developer no need to configure anything. Okay. For developer, You don't have to configure anything. That's why we are calling it as a convention over configuration. Now understood everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Can you tell again what convention over convention?
Okay. Convention is something like a already available. Okay, you can say not the word to word, but convention is something like a easily available. Okay, convention and configuration is you need to configure the things, you need to create the things. Okay, so whenever we are creating Maven project, now here you have to create the Maven project. So how to create Maven project, I will tell you. But whenever you are creating Maven project, automatically folder structure will get created. Okay, if you see, whenever you are creating Maven project, these many folders will get automatically created. Let me close the button. Yeah. This is a directory structure if you see carefully. So whenever you are creating Maven project, these all folders will get automatically created. pom.xml file, source, main, Java, source, main, resources, then web app, then Java, then resources. If you see, all these folders are getting automatically created. Okay. So when the folders are getting created, everyone will come and do their task. For example, in this source main Java, in this Java, a developer will write his code. Okay. Then source test Java. Under this test Java folder, tester will write his code. So tell me now, developer will not create source folder. Developer will not create main folder. Developer will not create Java folder. What he will do? Under the Java folder, he will write his code related files only. So this is a structure. Am I right? If you see carefully, source, main, Java, source, main, resources, all the resources or libraries will come under this folder. All web app related pages will come under this folder. So this structure, source, main, Java, we can say this structure, this folder structure is automatically getting created when we are creating Maven project. So that's why it is automatically getting created. That's why we are calling it as a convention over configuration, because developer or tester will not configure anything. These configuration are automatically generated. These details are, this folder structure are automatically getting generated. That's why we are calling it as a convention over configuration. Okay, this structure, this folders will, everything will automatically get generated. So developer simply he have to write. He should not bother about the folders, how many folder directories we have to create, where we are writing libraries. All these things he don't have to worry, because everything he will automatically get created, and he don't need to configure anything. That's why we are calling as a convention over configuration. Understood now?
Yes, ma'am.
In simple words, see, Dwithi Raj, if I ask you to create one Java project, okay, do you know where that files you have to store? Do you know where you have to store the database? Do you know where you have to write the testing files? Do you know where you have to write the Selenium related file? Do you know anything about that? As a developer, you don't know. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then this Maven project will help you to do the things. This Maven project will help you to arrange the things. Okay? He will tell this is the source code, this is the test related code, this is the target folder, this is the binary files, this is the resources. Everything is structured already. And this structure is provided by Maven. For developer or for us, as we are developer, for us, no need to bother about any structure. Okay, because already the structure is already allocated and it is already created. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that's why we are calling it as a convention over configuration. Okay, now clear? You can say if this is the question, you can answer it in a such a way that why we call Maven as a convention over configuration, because whenever we are creating Maven project, the directory structure is by default created. And as a developer, we did not have to configure anything. That's why we are calling it as a convention over configuration. Okay, now clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the directory structure for a Maven. Here we have a source main Java. Here we are storing Java source code. Then under resources, libraries will be stored. Then web app related web pages and then index HTML pages, CSS pages will be stored under this web app folder. Then test related file, that is testing related code, will becomes under this Java folder, test Java. Test related resources will be stored here, like test ng libraries and Jenkins library sometimes required, that all will be stored here. And next we have a target folder. So initially, whenever we are creating Maven project, target folder won't be there. So target folder will be generated when we are executing Maven commands. Okay, after executing Maven commands, target folder will get generated. Okay, fine. So this is the directory structure. Source, main, under main we have a Java resources web apps. Then under source we have a, sorry, we have mainly two folders, source and target. Source and target main folders, and under source we have a main test. Under main we have a Java resources web app. Under test we have a Java and resources. This is the directory structure. Okay. Maven directory structure also, some people also ask what is the Maven directory structure in interview. So mainly it have a source and target, and under source main and test. Under main Java resources web app, and under test we have a Java and resources. Clear now? This is the directory structure. Now pom file. Okay. As I told you, pom file is a project object model, and it is the heart of a Maven, we can say. So pom file contains XML format, and it contains all dependency on the plugins. Now the main question is that what is mean by dependency and the plugins? Okay. Do you know what it mean by plugins? Anyone? What it mean by plugins or dependency? Okay, let me explain you. Yeah. My screen is visible, guys?
It is visible.
Yeah. Fine. So if you see carefully, we have a something like a dependency and plugins. Okay, so plugins is nothing but an extension. Okay, plugins are, we can say, software component that extend the functionality of another software application. Okay, plugins are nothing but software components. They are also software components, but what it will do, it will extend the functionality of another software component. For example, we are getting some plugins for our Chrome. Then some plugins are available. Like, do you know, for Chromes we have multiple plugins. Okay, like Adobe plugins will be available for a Chrome. Am I right? And what these plugins will do, plugin will extend the functionality of a software application. So in Maven also we have multiple plugins, and what these plugins will do, these plugins will enhance or it will extend the functionality of a Maven project. Okay. So what type of plugins are available? So we have a something like a build plugins and reporting plugins. Okay. Build plugins are default plugins, and it will be written in the build element. Okay, it will be written in the build element. Okay, and reporting plugins will be written in the reporting plugins. Okay, and next is dependency. What is meant by dependency now? So dependency are also zip file. Okay, dependencies are also zip file. Plugins are considered, you can consider something like a software components which will enhance functionality when it is attached. So for Chrome also we are attaching some plugins. Okay. Then dependency. Dependency are jar files. Dependency are nothing but a jar files or some libraries, some external libraries, okay? Or we can say we can call it as also modules also. And what it will do, so it is used to run or execute software projects. Consider difference between plugins and this dependency. It is important, and sometimes if it is a basic interview, they will ask this type of questions also. What is the difference between plugins and dependency? So dependency, you can say, are the jar file or zip file. Okay, these are the zip file and which is required to execute the projects. Okay, without this jar file, we can't execute the project. Okay, particular project will be there. So that project we cannot execute until and unless we are not matching proper dependency and the dependency versions. So these dependency are a classes, group of classes, and in the zip format or the jar file. Jar is nothing but also here zip format. Okay, here jar, I'm telling you this jar is nothing but also archived or zip format only. Okay, so sorry. So dependency required to execute the code, whereas plugins provide extra functionality for a software or for application. Okay. Plugins is also one small software we can say, and dependency is nothing but a group of classes, modules, or the functionality. Okay. This group of classes will be bundled together to convert it into as a zip file. That zip file is required to execute the project. In Java, we have a libraries, something like for a string manipulation, we have a util library. Okay. String manipulation, we have a util library. Then IO library, we have a then for exception handling, one library is also required. So these different libraries are required to execute the project. And what this dependency contains, it also contains some code. Uh, that code will be in a zipped format, in an archive format. Okay. And this code is required to execute the project or to run the project. Whereas plugins are important because plugins provide some extra functionality to some other software or some other software application. Okay. So usually dependency is a library, you can say, and plugins are extension. Simple word. Okay. You can remember something like a dependencies are libraries and dependencies are libraries and plugins are the extensions. Okay. Plugins are the extension, you can say. Okay. And this POM file contains plugins and the dependency. Okay. This POM file, what it contains plugins as well as dependency. Okay. So this POM file also has goals and plugins. Okay. What is this goal? So I can say something like this. Yeah. So I can say something like this. Each POM file contains some let me create this one. Yeah. Just try to understand the guides. While doing actual work, you will understand better again. Okay. Right now, just theoretical part. I know it is quite confusing. But while we are doing actual project now, that time you will understand in a better way. So these plugins will be written under build element. Okay. In POM file, we have a build element. So all plugins will be written in this build elements and all dependency will be written in this dependency element. Okay. All plugins will be written in this build element and all dependency will be written in this dependency element. Okay. Dependency element. This is an XML syntax. This is also XML syntax. This is the opening bracket. This is a closing bracket. Okay. Opening, closing. And all dependency will comes under dependency element. All plugins will comes under build element. Okay. When you are you will see the actual structure, that time you will able to, when you are see the actual POM file, you will able to understand better. Okay. And what also it contains along with that, it contains group ID, then artifact ID and version. Now group ID is nothing but name of your organization. Okay. For example, now we are working with a Dwithi Technology. So our organization name or group ID will be Dwithi. Under that organization, what is your project name? So Maven is the project name. Okay. Maven is the project name. And what is the version of the project? We will see 1.0. That means first version. Okay. Like that we can give the input while creating this POM file. Okay. Because this all details will be stored in the POM file. All details will be stored in the POM file. So this POM file contain mainly organization name that will be under group ID. Group ID is organization name. Artifact ID is your project name, and version is the current version of your project. Okay. These are the details we have to provide in a pom.xml file. Okay. So again, while creating actual project, you will able to understand the structure of a POM file in a better way. Okay. Dependency. Yeah, here we come to the dependency. So if you see carefully, library Java files are packaged as a jar file. Instead of here jar file, if you don't know the Java and if you don't know the jar file, you can think here like a archive folder. Instead of jar, we will call it as a archive folder. Okay, zip folder. Okay, zip is one format, jar is one format, but both are a compressed one only. Jar is also compressed, zip also compressed. That's why here for jar we will call as a Java archive. Jar is a Java archive. Zip zip extension I don't know actually, but this jar is a Java archive. This is also compressed folder. Okay. So this dependency are Java libraries in a jar format. Okay, in a jar format. And this jar format will be required when we are executing the actual project. Okay. So here some details are provided, like we can specify the POM file into the external library, and we can specify POM file into the dependency element into the POM file. Okay. So under dependency element, we can specify the libraries. Okay. Yeah. Next important thing is the store, where these jar files, as I'm telling, we are using jar file libraries, plugins, but where these things are stored. So we have a three types of a repository. We have a three types of a repository: local repository, central repository, and the remote repository. Now see this diagram carefully to understand the better. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am, you are not getting your voice. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, I was mute. Sorry. Okay. So if you see, whenever, do you remember .git? So what was the .git? It was a local repository. Am I right? Whenever we are doing Git initialization, one .git folder will be created. So what is this .git folder? This .git folder is your local Git repository. Is your local Git repository. Same like whenever you are installing Maven and whenever you are executing your first Maven project, that time .m2 folder will be created on your system, and this .m2 folder is nothing but your local repository. Okay. So everyone will have their local repository, and whenever you are executing your Maven project, whenever you are executing Maven project, all the dependency initially will be stored into this .m2 folder. All dependency will be downloaded and it will be stored into this .m2 folder. Okay. Next, we have a central repository. Okay. So central repository will be stored in this location, http:/repo1.maven.org. This is the central repository. So central repository will be at this location, repo1.maven.org. So all the dependency which are earlier created by someone else will be stored at this location. Okay. It is like a registry or it is like a storage hub. Okay. So whatever existing dependencies are there, inbuilt dependencies are there, that dependency will be available at this central location. And next we have a remote. Okay. Remote repository will be available for a particular organization. Okay. It will be created in your organization and it will be stored as a central for your organization. So whenever you are searching for any repository or any dependency, first it will search into the local repository. If it is not available in the local repository, it will search in the central repository. And if it is not available in the central repository, it will search for the organization repository. Okay. So sequence will be like local, central, and then remote. So flow will be like this. Okay. Whenever you want to search for any dependency to execute that project, first it will search into the local repository, then it will search into the central repository, and then it will search into the remote repository. This is the flow actually. Okay. Don't think like that. First local, then remote, and then central. No. The flow is different here. Local, central, and then remote. Okay. So this is all about the repositories. Okay. So three types of repositories will be there. Local,
This one HTTP :/repo.net. This is on central repository.
yeah, this is the central repository. This one. Okay, this is the central.
Ma'am, when you install Maven, by default this repository will be created.
By default, .m2 folder repository will be created. Local repository. This folder is nothing but your repository. Now we have a .git as a git local repository. Am I right? Same like this .m2 folder will be created, and this is your local repository for a Maven. Okay.
Okay.
The important concept is the Maven Lifecycle. Okay. So Maven Lifecycle, we have a 3 lifecycle in a Maven. Okay. Clean lifecycle, default, or it is also called as a build lifecycle or the site lifecycle. Okay. 3 lifecycle. This is important question. Okay. Interview question. What are the 3 different lifecycle in a Maven? Clean, default, and site. Okay. So clean lifecycle has a 3 phases. Okay. Pre-clean, clean, and post-clean. Okay. It has 3 phases. Okay. Pre-clean, clean, and the post-clean. Okay. This is the last theoretical part from Maven. Okay. So next we will go with actual commands. So pre-clean, clean, and post-clean. These are the 3 phases for a clean life cycle. Then next we have a site. Okay. Site, we have a pre-site, pre-site. These are the phases. Okay. Just remember pre-site, then site, then post-site, and then last deploy. Okay. Site deploy. Sorry, not deploy. Site deploy. Site deploy. Pardon me for my bad writing. I'm not comfortable to write like this. Okay. So see. So clean life cycle has a 3 phases: pre-clean, clean, post-clean. Then site has pre-site, site, post-site, and site deploy. Okay. So this mainly 3 life cycle focus on different aspects. Clean life cycle focuses on handling your project, it handles your project cleaning. Okay. Then default life cycle mainly uh, focus on handling your project deployment. Okay. Project building and project deployment will be taken care by this builder life cycle, and this is important life cycle. Okay. That's why I have prepared separate slide for this. Okay. And then site life cycle, it will handle creation of your project website documentation. Okay. This will focus on creation of your project documentation. Clean will focus on cleaning of your project before every execution. And default will perform actual deployment and actual building process. Okay. Now let's see default or build cycle, which is actually important. Okay. So this is a Maven default lifecycle. This is also important question. You can write down what are the phases of a default lifecycle or the build lifecycle. Okay. Let me explain you these phases. Okay. So first phase is validation phase. Okay. What is this validation phase? So it will validate the project is correct or not. Whether the all required information for the project is available or not. Okay. All the versions are available or not. All the dependencies are available or not. So it will, in general, it will validate whether the project is corrected and all the necessary information is available or not. Okay. Next phase is compilation phase. Here, actual source code will be compiled. Okay. And Maven uses mainly Java. So Java compiler will be there. Java compiler, and this Java compiler will compile the code, and this compiler will be available here in the Maven. Okay. Next, we have a third phase. Okay. So for this phase, it mainly focus on the validation of your project. This phase mainly focus on the compilation of your actual source code. Okay. So here source code will be compiled and binary data or binary code will be generated from the source code. Next, we have a test phase. Okay. So here unit testing will be performed. I told you in Maven we have a JUnit library. Okay. This JUnit library will help us to do the unit testing. Okay. So this is a third phase, unit testing. Okay. Once unit testing is completed, we will go to pack the code as the jar file, var file, or the EAR file. Now, when it is jar file, when it is a var file, and when it is EAR file. So, let me tell you, jar file is called as a Java archive. Var file is called as a web archive. And EAR called as an enterprise archive. Whenever we are using standalone Java project, it will generate jar file. Whenever you are executing web-based Java application, it will generate var file. And whenever you are executing Java EE application, enterprise application, it will create EAR file. This is important, guys. See here. When it will create jar file. So whenever you are executing standalone Java application, it will create jar file. Whenever it is creating web application, Java based. See what I'm saying, Java based web application. So when it is using Java based web application, it will create var file. And when we are creating enterprise based web application, Java enterprise based Java enterprise based application, that time it will generate EAR file. Okay. So for Java application jar, web application var, enterprise application EAR file will be automatically generated. Okay. You should not bother which extension you have to do. Automatically these things will be generated based on your application. Okay, so this packaging will be done. Okay, so either it will be packed into one of these 3 types. Okay, once the packaging is done, next integration will be done. Okay. So here integration testing will be done. So where all the modules will be clubbed together and a single application will be formed, and this single application will be done as an integration testing. Okay. So in unit testing, we are taking different modules. Am I right? In integration, we are clubbing these modules together, and at last we are doing the testing, which is called as the integration testing. So next phase will be the integration testing. After integration testing, we have a verify phase. Okay. So verify phase, what it will do. So whether whatever package we have created, so these among these three, whatever package we have created, whether this package meets the quality requirements. Okay. Meets the quality requirement. That means whatever package is created, whether it is a valid or not. That verification we will do in the next phase. After verifying, we have an install phase. Okay. So in install phase, what we will do, whatever dependency required to execute this project, all dependency will be downloaded into .m2 folder. Okay. All dependency will be downloaded and stored into .m2 folder as a local repository. Okay. So whatever dependency to create this project, to execute the project, whatever dependency we are using, for example, JUnit, Selenium, okay, TestNG, whatever we are using, all this will be downloaded into, stored into M2 folder. Why? Because when second time we are executing the project, this dependency will be available into your local repository. No need to go to the central repository. Whenever first time we are executing project, dependency will be fetched from the central repository and it will be stored into the local repository. So second execution, third execution, fourth execution, all dependency will be available into your local repository itself. Okay. So this is all about installing. Then next deploy phase. Okay. So deploy phase, what it will do? So it will publish this uh, archive folder to the server, particular server. Okay. So it will be what in simple word, whatever packed this artifact will be there. This artifact will be moved on a particular server. It can be a Tomcat server. It can be Nginx server. So whatever server you have available. So the next phase, what it will do, it will move your application or your artifact to this any of this server. Okay, and it will be deployed in that server. So after deploying, what will happen? We can execute the code into the client server communication. Okay, client server mode. So these are the phases. Let me explain you again. Validate will do the actual project validated or not. Compile will compile the code and generate binary code. Testing will be unit testing, generating artifact or archive folder. Perform integration testing, verify whether the package is valid or not. Install all the dependency into the local repository and then deploy artifact into the server. Okay, on the release environment. We can call it as a server or the release environment. Anything is okay. So you can take any server. It can be a Tomcat server. It can be Nginx server. Okay. Based on the application. Tomcat is an application server. Okay. Nginx, Tomcat, these are the application server. So in the next class, we will see different types of servers are available. Okay. So this is all about the Maven default lifecycle. Is there any doubt in this theoretical part? So three cycles are there. Among these three, default and build is very important. Rest two, okay, you can just remember. Let me show you now actual project. Here theoretical part is completed. So let me share you my VS Code. Let's create a project, okay? Okay, again I need project. Now tell me, is there any doubt in the theoretical part? I know that you need to again go through once through this theoretical part for the better understanding. Yeah. So this is a VS Code. I think so everyone is familiar with the VS Code. Let's create one Maven project. Okay. So here one extension is required. You can go to here extension, and here you can say Maven. Okay. You can see this extension you can install in a VS Code. Okay. Write down somewhere Maven for Java. You can install this extension. Maven for Java. Okay. In your VS Code to run the Java project. Now what you have to do, what I will do, I will create one folder. What I will do, I will go here, terminal, cd dot. I will go back to the previous folder in Dwithi. Here I will create one Maven project. Okay. So mkdir mvntrj. First I will create one folder. Okay. mvntrj. Let's move to that folder. Okay. From here also I will go to the same folder. So in Dwithi Technology, we have a MVN PRJ. This is the folder. Let me open this. Yeah. So you can see the folder is created MVN project. Now next what you have to do, right click on this. Okay. Go here. Let me command. Here select it as a create a Java project. Then in Java you can select create from archetype. Okay. See here we have option no builder tools, Gradle, Spring Boot or Quarkus. So among that we will select here as a Maven. Yeah. And once you select the Maven, it will ask you for an archetype. Okay. So you can select usually as per the requirement, we have to select different archetype. But here I will choose for understanding purpose, the basic one, that is a quick start. Okay. I will choose quick start as an archetype. Okay. This is a sample Maven project which we are using. Specifically, there are for VB project, we have this one. For Java based project, we have this application. So I want to go with the second coming project, so I will set it as quick start. You can see different type. For web app, we have to choose this archetype. Web app. If it is a web app, we have to choose this one. If it is a Spring Boot application, we have to choose this one. Spring Boot blank archetype. You can see. Okay, so different archetypes are available. Archetype is nothing but an empty template. Okay, you can question me something like what is mean by archetype, ma'am? So archetype is a template where we are providing some input to generate a Maven project. Okay, some input we are giving to generate a Maven project. So empty template is nothing but an archetype. Okay, now here we have to select an empty template. So I will not go with a Spring Boot. I will not go with a web apps. What I want a simple Maven project. Okay, so simple Maven project archetype. So for that I will choose this one, quick start, because I want to go with a simple one. Okay, simple Maven project. I don't want to go with a web app. I don't want to go with a Spring Boot application. Then I don't want to go with a React JS application. Okay, so that's the reason. You can see if it is a J2EE application, means if you want to generate EAR var file, you can select this one. Okay, So now I want to go with the simple one. So I will use quick start. You remember or write down somewhere. Okay. Initially you can choose this one, quick start. So click on this. Now you can choose the version. I will choose the recent version 1.4. Okay. Then next here you have to provide three informations are very important. Three information are very important. Group ID, artifact ID, and then version. So group ID is nothing but your organization name. So here they have provided sample. So I will keep pom.Dwithi. Okay, pom.Dwithi. Enter. Then it will ask you archetype, artifact ID or artifact name. So you can also call it as a project name. Project name I will keep it as a demo 1. Okay, demo 1 I will keep it as a project name. And if you enter, it will create your Maven project. You can see here now.
Hello, ma'am. You are in mute. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, shall I explain you again? Have you understood? Have you heard? First of all, tell me. Good. Have you heard anything?
Ma'am, you are totally in.
Okay, let me create one more project. Okay. So it is asking for the version. Version I will give 1.0. You can see here it is asking for a version 1.0. Organization name com.Dwithi that we have provided. Enter. You can see one demo folder created. Shall I create one more for? Shall I create one more Maven project? So see here what we are going to do. Here we have to open command palette from here. View command palette we have to select. Once we select command palette, we have to select as a Java project. Why? Because this Maven project mainly work for a Java. After that, you can see these are the all build tools available. Maven, Gradle, and Spring Boot is a Java framework. Okay. So among these, I will choose Maven as the archetype. Now here, we have to choose one archetype. What is meant by archetype? It is an empty template. Okay. Empty template will be, we have to choose. So which empty template we have to choose? Now, what is meant by archetype? So here empty template, we have to provide some input as a user, and that input, with the help of that input, it will create one Maven project. So it is something like a empty template. Okay. Now, what templates available? You can see Maven archetype quick start is there. JDK 11, JDK 8 is there. Then React JS. If you want to go with a React JS project, you can select this one. If you go down, you can see if you have a web app, you can see you can select this archetype, web app archetype. If you have Spring Boot application, you can select this one. If you have Vaadin application, you can select this one. If you have a then J2E, that means if you want to generate EAR file, this is Java Enterprises application, J2E, Java Enterprise application. So if you want to create Java enterprise application, you can select this archetype. But right now I want to go with a very basic one. So I will select this quick start. Okay. After quick start, it will ask you for a version. So I will select the recent version, and here you have to provide your group ID. So mainly three information we have to give: group ID, project name, and the project version. So group ID I will provide com.dwithi. Okay, this is a group ID. Enter. Next, it will ask for the project. So I will give name as the demo 2 because demo 1 already we have created. So you can see now it is starting. So it will ask for the destination folder. Location I will keep the same one under Dwithi, under MVN project 1. So I will select this as a location, destination location. Now you can see these are the commands are executing. It's taking time actually. Yeah, scanning project and generating artifacts. You can see here. It will ask for the version. Version I will give 2.0. 2.0. Package name I will keep same. You can see demo 2 created. You can see here demo 2 created. Okay. So this project structure I will explain you in the tomorrow session. Right now we will stop now because already we have already it is 6 o'clock. I think so you have one more session. So we will stop here and then we will see rest of the things in the tomorrow session. Okay. Theoretical
Yes,
part
ma'am.
again I will explain tomorrow one more time. Okay. So thank you guys. Just try to complete this Git related assignment as soon as possible. Okay. Because Sunday again I will release this second Maven related assignment.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
fine. I think so. You have another session at 6 o'clock. So let's meet tomorrow. Thank you guys and bye.